It's SickBoy from the Gaminganarchist Collective and welcome to the Anarchic Eye for the 4th of February 2014. Well, as if summoning a djinn, as I mentioned last week, I actually brought up Sid Meier out of the blue, and all of a sudden there is actually a Sid Meier Humble Bundle. So for anybody who's a PC player and enjoys strategy games, go over to Humble Bundle. You see, currently they have pay whatever you like and you get Civ 3 complete, Civ 4 complete, Ace Patrol and Railroads. If you pay over the average, which I believe is currently $6.67, you get Civ 5 and Gods and Kings, which is the first expansion pack. Pay over $15 and on top of that you also get Brave New World. Now Brave New World being the major new expansion pack, which is currently when it's on sale. It's normally $20 on £20 on Steam. I'm not sure exactly what it comes to dollars, but actually, with regards to UK money, that's about £10 you're looking at for all of those titles. So if you enjoy strategy games, and certainly Civ 4 is a terrific title. So Civ 3 is a bit dated, but Civ 4, although Civ 5 with Gods and Kings and Brave New World, not necessarily Gods and Kings, but with Brave New World, is a much more stable experience. So if you're interested in getting that, I recommend, if you're looking at getting Civ 5, pay the whole lot and include Brave New World. Because otherwise, Civ 4 is a superb game. You could pay pennies for it and have a fantastic strategy game. So I thought I'd bring that to your attention. Well, as I mentioned yesterday, it had appeared that Ubisoft had abandoned their trademarks for Watch Dogs. As it turns out, it wasn't Ubisoft that actually filed for this abandonment. It turned out to be some twatty troll, or trolls. So what happens is they actually forged the CEO's signature on a document, sent it to the US Patent Office, and in fact then went to withdraw the trademarks for Watch Dogs. Now, I have to question what you're going to get out of that. I mean, with regards to trolling, you've trolled the community in a respect, but what have you gained from this? This is the shittiest bit of trolling imaginable. I mean, you could have one or two plans. One, to just piss people off, which is kind of pointless because it wasn't really going to work. As soon as Ubisoft went, we didn't abandon those patents, and they go, oh, we got this letter, and they say that letter's bullshit, they reinstate the patents, job done. If you were trying to, again, try to somehow scam Ubisoft, remove the trademarks, register them yourselves, and then try and sell them to Ubisoft, again, they would contest it in court. So really, you're just doing this to be a prick. Now, so everything I mentioned about that, speculation and what have you, the fact had remained that they had tried to withdraw the trademark. They've now been reinstated, and everything is as it should be. So yeah, congratulations, knobhead trolls. Although I will say you did do something quite funny. News stories all over the place yesterday were going on about how Watch Dogs had been cancelled, which was abject shit, and I didn't even allude to that. I just said the trademark had been abandoned, and it had been. Certainly at that point. So it does kind of go to show again how the gaming journalism industry just grab at straws and just make shit up. Facts are that the Watch Dogs trademarks were no longer listed. That came to light, turned out to be fraud. Turned out to be prankishness. They then went along and made up a shitload of inferences and claimed the title was banned. It was actually going to be withdrawn completely. Which is just fucking stupid and shows these people up for exactly who they are. Well, as I mentioned last year, the reason that I was quite down on the Ouya was that they claimed that they were going to follow the Apple model of releasing a new model every year. And here we are. The Ouya Mark II. This time, it's got a black finish on it. Whoop-de-doo, and it has a larger hard drive. It's double the hard drive as the previous one. Unfortunately, this is something that's kind of a piss and it's going to annoy, I think, a lot of people. They haven't done what, say, Apple do when they do this continuously recycle recycle hardware. The iPad, the old one goes away, the new one comes in, the price remains constant. What they've done is actually upped the price that now the Ouya is $129 with one controller. So it's creeping up significantly. That's a significant price increase. That's a 30% price increase they're sticking on there. That's pretty creepy. If you consider that if they're going to continue to do this, in a fairly short space of time, the difference between that and, say, buying a Wii U is going to be fairly negligible. At which point, why would you possibly go for an Ouya? I mean, the price has already gone up. In 6 months, they've put the price up already. That, to me, is indicative of some suspicious, dodgy practices. They should not be upping their price with regards to updating their hardware. Because, frankly, as time goes by, the price for specs diminish, you cannot then just turn around and say, well, we're charging more because it's more high specification. Bull fucking shit. This is just going to prove, if they don't sort this sort of thing out, it's just going to show that the Ouya is going to snowball and it's going to be an absolute goddamn waste of everybody's time. The new Microsoft CEO has just been announced. Satya Nadella, who has been with Microsoft for over 20 years, has now taken over as CEO of the company. Bill Gates is actually going to be taking more of an active role within the company, so it appears he's going to help nurture and tutor him within the role somewhat, whereas before he'd stepped almost entirely away from the board. This is an interesting and fairly telling play from Microsoft, because what has Satya been in charge of before? The cloud! And Xbox Live. He's been regarded to charge of cloud processing, so that includes Bing and Xbox Live. Those have been the main things that he's been looking after. Now, of course, Xbox Live has been massively profitable. Bing, not so much. But this just shows that the company's focus is in the cloud. It's in the cloud, as we know. And it is slightly iffy when you consider how their software licensing goes. If you go away from gaming, you look at how they've now changed buy a license for Office. No. Now you buy a time license for Office. All these things are moving more and more towards long-term subscription. Which is what other companies do. Adobe do it as well. They do, they rent the software. They don't sell you a key to use an infinitum. And that's what Microsoft are going for. Clearly, by picking this choice, they've shown two things. One, they're not really interested in changing tack. They are staying within. There's no fresh blood. They are keeping it in-house, which means they're happy with the way they're currently going. Secondly, it just reaffirms their commitment to focusing on the cloud more than on other things, more than potentially on innovation. The cloud is not really about innovation, it's more about owning storage and having your access to stuff, not just selling you a box and going, here's a copy of Windows Office, MS Office in the box, here, go do some spreadsheets. Not anymore, it's not. That's not how it works anymore, and that's how they're moving. So just so you're all very aware of that's how things are going to go. Well, thanks to Dan Marshall at Size 5 Games, I have something that I'd like to announce that would be interesting to go ahead with. Now, I'll tell you why in the little next segment, but first I've just, so Dan Marshall of Size 5 Games I contacted him regarding a review code because I am looking to do a few reviews for Gun Monkeys. Now, he sent me a review code for Gun Monkeys and he also sent me a big stack of Steam codes. So what I have is a number of free copies of the game. So what I would like to do is open this up to everybody here and have, for fun and to raise some money for charity, have a little Gun Monkeys tournament. Now, I have been speaking to some of the YouTubers and other people that I have been collaborating with in the past, so a number of these licenses are already gone. However, I should have at least a dozen licenses for Gun Monkeys for people, if they want the game for nothing, they join in this tournament, we will agree on a nominal fee to put into the pot, the winner takes half, the other half goes to charity. I think that'll be a good way of doing things. If you're interested, hit me up. Try not to DM me because my YouTube messages, I'm not picking them up. I hardly have the time to go into my inbox, but go onto my Twitter, comment on here, I'm more likely to see it, and see where we can go with there, if you're interested. The only specifications are, of course, one, you're going to need to have a PC that can run these things, and also, you're going to need to have some game capture software, because I'd really like to be able to have people record their games, send them in, we can take highlights and do some snippets and what have you, and then have live semi-finals and finals. I think that'd be a good laugh and a nice way of doing things. So if you guys want to get involved, if you have the recording capability and the interest, and I can send you a Steam code for the game, and we can go and run the tournament. So for that, you'll guaranteed get the game for nothing, and potentially win a little bit of money and raise some money for charity if you don't win. Right, well, this last bit's a bit personal and nothing to do with the news, so if you're not interested in that, time to turn this video off. Okay, I just want to promote something that a member of my family is doing. My sister-in-law is doing a charity sky jump for diabetes research. Now, the reason behind this is because it's recently, in the last couple of weeks, come to light that my wife's family have a specific genetic disease. It is, if you know your biology, I'm not going to go into details because, you know, it is my field, but I'm just going to explain that there are two types of DNA you have in your body, okay? You have your nucleus, where your main DNA is, that's where your chromosomes live. You have your mitochondria is what runs your respiration. Now, the mitochondrial DNA actually originally came from a bacteria that came into cells, you know, billions of years ago, and is how we make our energy. It's how we create enough energy in order to create multicellular organisms. But I digress. So this DNA strand is inherited from mother to child. Now, it turns out that my wife's mother has this, her mother has this, which means that my wife and all her siblings have this, which means my unborn child is going to have this. This is a disorder that will 1% of people with diabetes have this, and it means that through no fault of your own, no environmental factors, you end up with diabetes and deafness. Now, it's not 100% when you get it or how you get it, but you will get it and your diet really can't deal with it. You can't say eat healthily and not end up with the diabetes. One day you're fine, one day you're not. So the likelihood is at some point that this is going to impact. It already impacts my family, my wife's family, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law have quite severe diabetes. Very, very severe diabetes. Those who are aware about diabetes, my sister-in-law, her resting blood sugar is at 28. Okay, and she is the one doing this charity event. She's decided to do a skydive, which is something that she hoped that she would enjoy in order to raise money for charity. Now, I've tried to give her some support already. She's actually going to do the jump in April. As things stand right now, she's already got 200% of what she wanted. She wanted 300 and something pounds in order to pay for the skydive. Anything outside of that, of course, goes to research. Right now, she's actually topping that. And some people from this channel who saw me, what I put on Facebook, I know certainly a few of you, like Active Messiah, for example, who does my intro theme, has already donated some money, and thank you guys who have put that money in already. I really appreciate that. This isn't something that I'm saying that you have to do, but I would appreciate it if you had a bit of spare money and you're interested in funding research for to help cure diabetes, to perhaps go to the Just Giving page here and just give £1 or £2 or $1 or $2, whatever your local equivalent is, just a little bit, you know, just a small amount. If you don't want to, absolutely fine. That's why I put it at the end of this video. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm suggesting that someone has to, but this is also where I want to use half of the winnings from the previously mentioned Gun Monkey tournament. I'll take half of that money and put it to this charity. Now, it's where I've been putting my monetization for the last month or so, and I put some of my own profit money in there as well, because one, I want to support my sister-in-law, and two, it's a worthwhile cause. So if you're interested in that, the link is in the description. Deeply appreciate it if you just give whatever you can, or, you know, don't feel any way obliged to, but I just thought I'd explain, one, as to where the idea for the money for the tournament will be going, and why I'm doing that. Anyway, guys, you've been looking through the 2020 vision of the Anarchic Eye. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll catch you guys later.